Yeah. All right, it's 9 a.m. We have a quorum and I'm going to call this meeting to order. We could start with the October meeting minutes.
Unless you want to make an agenda change.
Oh,
Review of the.
Yeah, we have to confirm the agenda.
yeah, thank you. Any proposed changes to the agenda?
None from me.
All
No,
right,
me.
hearing none, we'll move on to the minutes for October.
Who is taking the minutes today?
Oh, it'll come off the video.
Oh, okay,
We're good.
okay,
We always do it off the video.
all right.
Excellent. Can I get a motion to approve the October meeting minutes?
I move we approve the October meeting minutes.
I guess I'm here to second it.
That's it. Otherwise, I'd be the vice president.
All right, any discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, anyone on the line for public comment? All right. There is no unfinished business at this time, so we will move right into the financial update with Charlie and one more time.
Amber.
Amber, Charlie and Amber.
Amber, okay, nice to meet you, Amber.
All right, September financials. All right, we are a quarter of the way through the year. We are within our, we are in compliance with our reserve requirements. As of for year to date, we are, let's see, September was 32,000 in revenue. We had 112,000 in salaries. Operating expenses, 14,000. Year to date totals, 271,000 in revenue. 324,000 in salaries and wages. And 50,000 in operating expenses. Compared to budget, we are 8% below budget in revenue. 1% above, and that's barely 1% for salaries, and 9% below in our operating expenses. Accounts receivable, we are at 208,000. 52% of that is the West Virginia Treasury. Do we have anything in September you want to? All right, any questions on September?
It was a very low income month.
It was, we'll see, an uptick in October. Also, just to compare it to prior year real quick, September, through September 2024, there was a deficit of almost $4,000. Last year, for the same time frame, we were at a deficit of 56,000, and that's due to some revenue timing.
Great, so we're actually in better shape this year.
Right, no, we're
Worse shape.
Worship.
Oh, I'm trying to get my.
Good morning.
But
All relative.
yeah, but you know, a little bit of a spoiler alert, I guess. In October, we're gonna see revenues are going back up, but we're I think as we firm up the October numbers, we're gonna be in the same place as we were last year, but at the same time. But we'll talk about that here in just a moment.
Thanks.
Going to October.
Do we need a motion for September?
Can I get a motion to approve September?
I move we,
financials?
accept the, September financials.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. No names, the ayes carry.
All right, October preliminaries. We are now a third of the way through the fiscal year.
Oh, third, you said third, sorry.
Third.
That is a third. Yeah, yes.
3 times.
Mathematician, sorry. We are still in compliance with our reserve requirements by 71,000. And as Charlie had mentioned, revenues are up in October, they're 208,000. Salaries, expense was 151,000. You'll see this one's a little bit above because of 3 payrolls coming out in October.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
November one
free
fell
payroll.
kind of funny, so that November 1st came out in October. Operating expenses, 12,000. Fiscal year to date, revenue 480,000. Salaries 476,000. And operating expenses 63,000. Now to compare to budget, revenue is 3% below budget. Salaries 5% above budget. And the operating 13% below budget. A bit of a spoiler alert for when we finalize these numbers, it looks like there have been some vaccine expenses that were recently booked in October. So those expenses will probably increase on the final.
Yeah, but later that will result in revenue.
Yeah,
It is an expense, so they're balanced out.
yeah.
What was the
Right, so-
expense for the vaccines? Just
Uh,
dollar
we
amount.
sold-
Oh.
Estimate.
It's gonna be somewhere in the 5 figures, low 5 figures, probably 10 to
Yeah.
20,
Yeah,
Okay,
usually is what I usually sign off on a every other month basis or so.
alright, accounts receivable, did increase with the revenue to 289,000. 59% of that being the West Virginia treasury.
And that really grew.
Yeah, just some new billing.
But the days to pay remains pretty constant.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, it seems to really hover around that
45 days,
Yeah.
yeah, which is
Yeah.
very normal.
Yeah.
For any
So-
business, any business.
That 105, 720, that's more than 90 days. That's all West Virginia Treasury, I believe. And that just went through accounting, actually.
Great,
So hopefully it will appear in the bank account in November. We'll see.
great.
You're talking about the receivables over 10%. Yeah, that is all West Virginia Treasury.
Yeah, I know. I know that exact number is the exact number that the grants accounting office got back to me with about 3 weeks ago.
Oh, great.
And said, we are processing all these. I said, they're a year old. Are you sure you're processing them? She said, yes. I said, thank you.
Alright, so any questions on the October statement?
just a general question, just to reconfirm, other receivables under 10%, that's all commercial. Commercial insurance,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
mostly commercial.
And some
insurance.
recent grant billing.
okay, so if it's small grant billing, it kind of lands over there.
Yeah, the largest item I saw was $4,000.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, got it, thank you.
We're getting better. Cleaning up the AR.
And just to reiterate
Yeah.
what Amber was saying a little bit ago, you know, we have a deficit now through October of 2024. Do not be surprised next month if that, I confirm up the numbers, that deficit gets greater. And it's really just going to be in line with the prior year. It's just the timing of when we're getting vaccines versus when we're bringing in the revenue for them.
You guys have been here long enough to know how the revenue changes towards the last
Yeah.
6 months of the year.
Yep.
That's where we make the majority of our money in the last 4 or 5 months. You've seen it before. This time though, I'm being a lot more careful on monthly operating expenses. Trying to keep those a little lower, because that's really what hit us last year.
So how much expense will we incur in this new building with outfitting that?
Without what? Without,
Outfitting,
I'm being told that that will be paid directly by the county. Everything that we need will
wonderful.
be paid for by the county.
That's
That's a tremendous investment. This is an investment in the health department that we have not received from Jefferson County in well over 15 years.
Will any
That's
of
not
our
investment.
equipment stuff go there?
Yes. Anything that's owned by the health department, and that's everything pretty much that's over there, will be shipped, will be moved over there, including all of our brand new exam tables, all of that. So this is where it gets a little bit sticky. So even though they may build out everything for us, furnishing it is going to be on us.
Who's the county liaison at the moment?
What do you mean?
Who's our county county commission?
Oh,
liaison?
well, I don't want to bias anything. I have an idea who it might be.
No, I mean, who is it now?
It's
There is-
vacant.
It's vacant.
It's
Oh,
vacant. Sorry,
okay.
yes. I have an idea of who it will be, but
Well,
that's not
that's-
official yet.
Right. Well,
Sorry.
no,
Wish I could share it with you.
no, I'm not asking you to predict the future. I just want to know who it is now and we don't have one.
No, nobody.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
No problem.
Dr. Cook is no longer available. So keep going. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, no, that was.
So how are we looking compared to this time last year? In a similar place?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think as after we firm up the October numbers, it'll be similar. Right now, we're at a deficit of 56,000. Last year at this time, we were at a deficit of about 117,000.
Yeah.
But again, I think we're gonna be more in line with that 117 next, like when we
That,
printed the final numbers for October.
that roughly corresponds to the drop in the balance sheet. Because the drop in the
Yeah.
balance sheet is 60,000 and the change is you said it's 56,000.
Yeah,
So that's interesting.
Right. We're actually in a pretty good place. This time last year, we were riding the reserve amount. And this year we're $70,000 above, so.
All
And
good.
that's even with a three payroll month in it,
That's all good.
driving up the average. So we're financially in a good place. I'm not as nervous as I was last year.
All right, agency activity report.
Well, thank you, ladies.
thank you
Yes,
for having us.
thank
Have a
you.
great day.
Have a
And
good,
Chuck, you
happy,
had a good one.
Thank you
happy
guys.
Thanksgiving.
It was quick and easy.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yep, see you guys.
You want me to go over clinical first or?
It's threat preparedness first.
Couple quick things, first, I'll be leaving for Colorado for the conference, about 6 days. Should be back by 21st, but I'll be back by the next Board of Health meeting. And the other quick thing was that, I'd like to thank the Board of Health for doing the public health risk assessment for the state. That closed on the 24th. They should have received all the surveys.
They did.
Currently looking through them. I haven't received anything, haven't heard anything from them. Probably won't for a while, but whenever I have any more information about it, I'll report at the next meeting. Besides that, about it from my end.
Thank you, Brandon. Environmental activity report.
Unfortunately, Alexis is not here today. She is at home, with some family things. And couldn't even attend remotely, unfortunately. But we have picked up the pace on inspections. You can see the numbers much higher than they were in September, pretty much across the board. We have not denied very many septics recently, at least in October compared to September and August, which we denied a lot more, which always causes a little friction in the community. Couple other things. No positive rabies, although we did end up having 43 reports of animal bites or animal scratches. And other than that, nothing crazy, in line with the averages essentially.
Thank you. Clinical activity.
So with our typical activities, family planning, breast and cervical cancer screening, sexual transmitted infections and vaccinations, I don't really have anything particular to report. We're where we expect it to be by this time of year. No particular variations. I do have some QRT information I would like to share. You asked for a story last time, some of the activities we're doing. One case that I wanted to highlight was a participant who joined us 6 months ago. She was then referred to recovery at St. Joe's. It's further in West Virginia. She had finished her program. She came out of it. She's been 6 months sober. She was recently, our QRT team is still in touch with her. They still keep contacting participants to make sure they're okay. And also to share that, hey, we're still here if you need us. She was recently at JCCM with her family member coming to see the doctor. So that's a good success story we'd like to talk about, that they are now in recovery for 6 months, and now she's able to attend other matters in her life and not just, the abuse that she had to deal with. Another current good story to talk about would be, we had a client that was referred by another inmate from Eastern Regional Jail. And that our recovery coaches were able to work with the attorney and drug court, and was able to get her into Pyramid. So she went to Pyramid. She didn't have any clothes because she's coming directly from jail system. So our peer recovery coaches were able to get her some of those items, hygiene items and clothing, to get her and take care of that. And they've been constantly, the last 2 weeks, they're regularly seeing her. So that's a current case we're working.
What is Pyramid?
Pyramid is so they're actually a bigger company. They have all facets of substance abuse treatment recovery. The one we have here in Hedgesville is a big center where there are multiple housing units. So depending on where the status of the patient is, they can live there and continue with recovery. They can't leave the property though. A more inpatient version is what used to be Mountaineer Recovery Center. They're all, Pyramid bought them. So that's where she's at, the one in where Mountaineer was. So that would be inpatient, regularly seeing a provider and being in a more aggressive treatment program. And they can graduate and go to the more lenient one, which is in Hedgesville. And in Maryland, I know there are different variations of that. So Pyramid is actually a bigger company throughout the region, and they have different centers. So they were able to, our peer recovery coaches were able to help her and get her into Pyramid instead of being in jail. So,
Wow, that's a big win.
yeah,
Wonderful news.
that is a very good news. And also Narcan trainings. It's not as busy as it was last year this time. We had Save a Life Day last in September, but this month actually, Job Corps asked us to come in. So we just did trainings for 109 individuals there, gave out Narcan. So we're still giving out Narcan, and there's much more acceptance in the community to receive trainings. So that's where we're at,
Saving lives.
saving lives one at a time.
Yeah, very impactful
Wow,
program.
that's how you
Thank
do
you
it.
for sharing that.
We don't have an epidemiologist, do we?
I unfortunately had to lay off the epidemiologist for
Okay.
financial reasons.
Right,
Didn't really want to do that, but sometimes you have to make hard choices.
because I'm curious, we did TB tests.
We do.
Do we get any positives?
No positives. The one that we were currently working on, I don't want to say currently, it's kind of in a pause right now, was a referral from Loudoun County. They were trying to find where this patient was, because in their records, the patient had moved to Jefferson.
Mm.
So that was referred to us, and that was technically active, but not, what it is she's not contagious, but she needs treatment. So that case, they've been trying to reach this patient. We haven't been able to, but then we got report that she's not here. She's in Loudoun County. So that's the one active case that I'm aware of.
Is the TB test still required for a restaurant worker?
I don't know. I think that depends on the employer. I don't think that's standard. I haven't seen any patients coming in asking for TB test for restaurant work. For childcare centers, yes. For university education, yes, but not restaurants, no.
Okay.
I think that's it for me.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Health officer report.
Dr. Reedy is in health officer training
Oh,
in Charleston.
Is he?
Yes, in lovely downtown Charleston at the Sheridan. Right there by the river.
okay.
If you've ever been there, you may have never been there. Have you ever been there? Yeah, you're not missing anything.
At least it's a good,
I've been there.
it's a
You've
good.
been there?
I've been to Charleston many times, and I've been down by the river, and I've seen the building, but I've never been inside.
It's a good view.
It is a great view. Last time I was there, I'd asked to be on the top floor facing the river. They actually had a room for me, which was nice.
One of the few pretty views. in
Yes.
Charleston.
Yes. It's definitely the best view in the city.
If I ever go there, I will seek out that spot.
Good luck.
All right, health administrator report.
So some very basic things today. Like I said, we're in a good spot. We have a good amount of money in the bank. We'll also put another big chunk in the bank in November. So keep us well above the reserve amount, which is one of the goals as opposed to, freaking out about it like I did last year. We've hired a new office assistant at the front desk. She's working out very well. I'm continuing to close the grants and reduce accounts receivable from West Virginia Treasury, as you can see. And this month should be a good one for that. We have to hire a new sanitarian. We had one resign and move to and go to Loudoun County. And
Shucks,
what?
shucks.
Yeah, it happens. New boss sometimes requires staff to assess where they stand with the new boss, and that happens.
That's very, very well said.
That happens. So if Alexis is a tremendously good sanitarian supervisor. I have two very good people that work just under me. From the nurse director and the sanitarian supervisor. They're both dynamite. The new sanitarian supervisor is really good. New sheriff in town, things will change because of that. So last but not least, we spent $177,000 on QRT in fiscal year 24, and it was all covered by the grant. And in fact, we received all payment for
Good
it.
news.
So 100% covered, 100% reimbursed.
Great.
So we're in a good shot. We're in good shape there too. The new QRT grant cycle started 2.5 months ago, roughly. And I'll bill out the first quarter on that one soon. Hopefully this month here, we'll bill that out. That will hit the books at about almost 60K. So, and we'll be good there.
Does the QRT program have stats on the number of admissions and new cases each month? I don't know if you're using an EMR.
We
or
are
anything like
recording
that.
that.
We
yes.
are recording that. We haven't really pulled the numbers out of it yet. We have a spreadsheet that we're documenting everything.
Mhm.
But I actually haven't pulled out specific numbers.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you're doing ongoing follow-up. Are you keeping those cases open and active? Or if there's a clearly defined treatment plan and then you're discharging them out of the service, but continuing to follow them anyway? Until, and this might be a little bit different in the QRT kind of model. I'm just kind of thinking more of a
Yeah.
healthcare episode.
Yeah,
There's a start date and an end date.
it gets gray
Yeah,
because
I bet.
in medical care, you think of open and close, you have discharge and they're done. If they come back, it's new admission. But with QRT, that's not truly like that, even if they're current, like the story I was telling you, the lady, she went to St. Joe's, right? She was, she needed help, got her into St. Joe's. Technically at St. Joe's, that's considered a discharge. Our QRT members are not involved anymore, but they still contact her because she was still reaching out for emotional support or any other kind of family, something she'll want to talk about. So the line is still open. So we don't consider that closed.
Yeah.
A closed case is a definitive closed case would be when the QRT peer recovery coach has contacted the person after, say, 1 month or 2 months, they've made 2 or more contacts and there has been no response.
Okay.
That would be more, okay, we're closing the case.
So it's more unable to contact a patient to keep that line open.
Correct.
So you're looking at an open lines of communication with lives impacted
Yes.
over time. This is a longitudinal program. Maybe you're interacting with these patients for 1 year, 2 years and on, but at the remaining, knowing that you're a resource.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
And if they say, hey, I'm good, please don't contact me anymore, they're actively closing the case.
Okay.
That doesn't happen that often at all. Usually they'll say, okay, we'll talk later. But if a participant wants to close it, then we'll close it because they'll say, please don't contact me anymore. That would be considered a closed case. But in the other event, it's more, the peer recovery coaches is already, they kind of have a cycle going on. After so long, they will reach out to these participants that they've gotten situated somewhere. Hey, just checking on you. Are you doing okay? If you need anything, I'm here. And typically they'll respond. That's considered continuing to be open. If there is no response after 2 to 3 attempts, then it's considered closed.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. So I think new cases each month, as well as the number of active cases each month becomes a really important stat as we kind of look for continued grant funding over time. to be able to quantify, and I know it's very hard to quantify the degree of impact. That's why I think those stories are so important. But to, the quantitative side is new cases coming in that shows that there's outreach and you're engaging new members of the community. And then how many patients are you working with? Or I don't know if you even call them patients, really.
Clients
Clients
or participants is what we
Participants.
refer.
Yeah, how many participants were active this month? Because that will continue to grow if you keep these paid clients open
Yeah,
for a long amount of time and you're continuing to bring new people in. So thank you for that.
And that will only grow, so I don't know if you remember that we created a little bit of a coalition with some community partners, NAACP, Jefferson County, JCCM, or Jefferson County Community Ministries, and a couple Everhart Therapy and a few other different organizations. We've created a coalition with them that we're calling the JCSUPAR, but it's the substance use and recovery prevention and recovery group. And so there's 9 of us, I think now, 9 different groups. And I did go in front of the county commission and speak to them about their open opioid settlement money and whether or not, we could avail ourselves of some of that funding.
Is any
I
decision,
requested all $1.2 million of it. I guess that's greedy, but
any decision with that yet?
no decision on that yet. Obviously, we'll wait until the new county commission is seated to be able to vote on that because it's such a big amount of money. I'm sure that they will all want to see exactly how that will be distributed, I'm sure. So we'll see if we can try to get a few $100,000, maybe be able to hire a social worker that can get us out in the community and interact with the substance use disorder community and see how we can not attract even more, but try to help even more among that community. See how it goes. But we have a good start, we have a good base, and it's unfortunately only going to be larger over the next few years.
Do you have a resource where you get those personal items and stuff when somebody is in need of those?
where are we getting items?
I mean, do you have a resource that helps to provide those for you?
I think there's multiple. We definitely have, like the food pantry. They're sometimes helpful. There's some donation drives that Katie and Angel take a part in. And they'll randomly say someone like Caroline from our Save a Life Day. She works for Berkeley County. There's connections that the other agencies are able to donate, and they'll find items and they'll bring it. We have them actually in our room.
Yep. Your office is as bad as mine now.
It's like lots of tubs full of clothes and things. If we don't have that resource, then they'll contact someone to get those resources. Yeah. Oh, do you have any more people to share?
Angel and Katie are quite resourceful.
Yes.
I'll talk to you about that.
Okay.
And then I don't know how easy it'd be to add those stats to the activity report for QRT. And if it's too much, like just throwing it out there as an idea.
Not too much, but maybe it's something we report, but maybe don't put it on the agenda or don't put it in public record. I don't know.
Okay, I see, this is all public,
And the other
That's
thing is, right,
interesting,
now they're
yeah.
very small numbers.
It's
It's more easy to
identify them. Yeah.
So if we had like large numbers, 50, 70 to talk about, I would be more comfortable putting it down on paper.
Fair enough, that makes sense. Thank you for respecting.
Hopefully we never get to
participants'
50 to 80 participants,
Well,
but we might.
Bigger the number, they kind of like.
Yeah, then it's more difficult to identify them, but yeah, you want to avoid individually identifying anybody in treatment.
Privacy issues.
Privacy is very important when it comes to medical stuff, so try to be very careful around that.
Yeah, thanks for the reminder, this is all public record.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't have anything else to add myself.
Well, I have a question then.
Speak to me, sir, or whoever.
The election results have you contemplated what changes that's going to bring to the whole public health scenario?
Nope,
Okay, 'cause
I don't. I have.
I'm thinking Dr. Reedy wasn't here because he's still recovering from having to think about RFK Jr.
No, he is, he's in qualified, truly health
I know,
officer training.
No,
Otherwise, he would be here. No, no.
I'm being tongue in cheek,
I know, no,
Right. but
we understand the future challenges and we will have to deal with them. We regardless,
right.
Yeah.
Because
you deal with the hand you're dealt, and
I see we're still giving out COVID vaccines.
we are, those are all strictly 100% voluntary.
Well, no, I
They're
understand that.
requested, so.
Yeah, what brand?
We have Novavax and
Moderna.
Moderna.
And Moderna.
Yeah.
Those-
And the customer or client is paying for them.
Correct. Yeah, it's all self-pay or insurance pay on that. Yeah, so it's, we'll have
Okay,
to see what happens.
right. Because results, I mean, are really disturbing on the effects of these vaccines. Well,
See
anyway,
what happens going forward.
well, right, we'll deal with it as it happens.
Absolutely.
All right,
So
Yep.
next month's meeting,
Are we?
definitely have it.
We are having one. next
I would
month?
I would prefer that we do. I found it to be more difficult for me and my staff to report 2 months worth of finances and things like that. So if you want, I thought to myself, maybe we just do a Zoom because it'll probably be quick and easy.
What date is that?
That's the 13th, Friday, the 13th of December.
Friday the 13th. Oh,
yeah,
that's a lot of
I
fun.
fully support that.
Yeah,
So if you
I
want to
think
do
we
a
should have
Zoom,
a
that way
meeting.
you don't have to come into the office, but I definitely think we should do a meeting.
Well, Zoom's always an option, but and you're gonna be here.
I'll be
so
here,
You
yeah.
may as well have the meeting and whoever wants to participate by Zoom, it just participates by Zoom. Because yeah, last year we didn't have it the same.
We didn't have it, and it was much more burdensome in January for the
All right.
staff.
Fair enough, yeah.
Sorry.
Do you have a Christmas party date yet?
Not yet, but we do have a Thanksgiving party coming up.
We don't have to make a motion to have a regular meeting.
No, it's already scheduled.
Yeah,
There's a
right.
standing meeting.
That's-
I said, if you just wanted to go all online, that would be fine with me, but
I'm
I
just
just,
up the road, I don't
yeah,
have any
so-
problem coming in.
Yeah, I
Probably
don't
would.
have
so
a
just keep the
problem
meeting as it is.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think it's fine.
all right, I guess, is there anything else?
Good job, everybody.
Yeah, thank you all, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
Aye, all those in favor, say aye. Sorry. I don't do this.
2/3 of us have already made the vote.
We're good. Yeah, you already have a majority.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you all,
Yeah,
appreciate the patience.
Thank you, Brent.
that was easy.